Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So there's many similar slokas like that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, beginning of different chapters. And we always sing Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. All five Panchatattva. Prabhupada said we should invoke their mercy before we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because it's by their mercy that we have it. Lord Nityananda brought the Mahamantra from Goloka, and together they spread it, all of them. We have Lord Nityananda here with us and Lord Chaitanya, and Krishna and Balaram are actually also Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Krishna became Lord Chaitanya and Balaram became Lord Nityananda. There's a nice sloka, Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanyam Nityananda Sahodito Gododai Pushpavanto Chitro Samdo Tamonudo. That just like the sun and the moon, the two lords Nityananda and Chaitanya have arisen on the horizon of Godadesh, that's Bengal, to dissipate the dense darkness of Kali-Yuga. Of course, Krishna did that. When after Krishna was departed, then in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, the sages are asking, what now? After Krishna's left, then it says that the Srimad Bhagavatam is arisen just like the sun. Puranarko Sahodita. That this Srimad Bhagavatam, this Purana, which is just like the sun, has arisen, and this will dissipate the dense darkness of Kali-Yuga. Kali-Yuga is very dark. It means ignorance. Almost everybody is covered over in ignorance. A little bit of passion. But even when they work hard in passion, they're seeking ignorance, intoxication, and something like that. But if those who are fortunate that can take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, hear his Leelas, join his Sankirtan movement, it's said that in this age of Kali, normally the Kali-Yuga is called a Tri-Yuga avatars. Avatar means come down, the Lord comes down. So in 3 yugas, and in the Kali-Yuga there's not a mention. But he's a Gupta avatar, he's hidden, Shana avatar. And then it is mentioned, but it's in a sneaky way, that it's Lord Chaitanya. And then the devotees, of course, could understand that. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya, and he would say, how do you know, how do you know, how do you know? And then Sarvabhauma said, well, you just like the sun, you can't cover the sun up, so that the Lord's divine nature showed through, even though he's trying to act like an ordinary human being, but in a very extraordinary way. So Lord Chaitanya kindly appeared and started the Sankirtan movement. He came for his own, he took the mood of Srimati Radharani so he could try to understand why Srimati Radharani loved him so much. Krishna couldn't understand that. So he took the mood of Radharani to experience that love of himself and also to teach it. And it just so happened that it's at the same time as the time for the incarnation of the age to spread the Yuga Dharma, which is the Sankirtan movement. So it's actually that the Sankirtan movement, the congregational public chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. was Lord Chaitanya manifesting the ecstasy that he was feeling in the mood of Radharani and love of Krishna, and giving it freely. We can find, different slokas talking about how Krishna prema is so rare and so unavailable and it takes you billions of lifetimes. But by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, he's giving it. Namo Maha Vadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Goda Tushe Namaha. He's freely distributing love of Godhead, therefore he's the most magnanimous. And that distributed in many, many ways. First, in just a congregational chanting the holy name and welcoming everybody to do that. And when Lord Chaitanya did that to caste brahmanas, called it Jati Gosai in Bengali, the brahmanas are very proud of their birth usually, and that they're born in a family of brahmanas, so therefore they're very special, I think. And it's the Kali-Yuga, and they teach that you cannot become a brahmana, you have to be born as a brahmana. And you can't change your caste, but that's completely against all Vedic teaching. And Lord Chaitanya, he smashed that. He smashed the pride of the brahmanas. They were very foolish. They were saying that they even told the Muslim Qazi, when the Muslims complained about Lord Chaitanya's kirtan, the Qazi didn't take that very seriously because the Muslims naturally complain about the Hindus. So he didn't think that's very important. They were saying that these Hindus are chanting all the time and we have to hear it. And these Hindus have names, Krishna and Rama and Govinda and Gopal. And we have to live with them and work with them, and we're chanting and we can't help it. We start chanting these Hindu names of God, but we don't want to. But when the Brahmanas came, and they complained, they said this Nimai, he's invented a Hindu, it's not real Hinduism. It's something he's invented, this loud chanting of the holy name, and this will disturb the Lord, and the Lord will become angry, and then he'll curse us, and everything will be inauspicious. We'll have bad weather, and we'll have, no crops and all these things. Very amazing. And they also said that he's letting any low-class person, fisherman or anybody, chant the holy name, but it's only meant for brahmanas. And if these low-class people chant, they said the holy name will become contaminated, and then it won't be good anymore. This is how stupid they were. You can't believe that. Because the Ishopanishad is saying, right from the start, that Parigas Chukram, Akaima Vrinam, Vaishnaviram, Shudam, Apapavidam. It's completely pure. Krishna is pure. He's, Prabhupada translates, antiseptic and prophylactic. Those are nice words. Everybody knows antiseptic, I guess. Maybe they even have that in other languages. Septic means poison, bad, dirty thing. And then when you get an infection, you get an antiseptic, and you clean it up. They sell so many things for cleaning your bathroom and stuff. Antiseptic, cleaning up the poison. And prophylactic means protection. So the holy Krishna is antiseptic. Whatever contacts Krishna becomes purified, no matter how contaminated it is. Examples like the sunshine. In the traditional cultures, people just go in the field for their, evacuation, and they leave the remnants. And just by the sunshine, it becomes okay. It becomes something you mix up. It becomes like fertilizer. It purifies the most dirty thing. The sun will never become contaminated. Impossible. And so Krishna is like that. Whatever contacts Krishna, the holy name is Krishna. But these Brahmins didn't understand what is Krishna. They just think it's some ritual that's only the property of the Brahmanas. And then when they do these rituals, they will get paid for it. And that way, they have control over society. And Lord Chaitanya was saying, Harinama eva kevalam, Kalu nasteva nasteva nasteva, Gatiranyata, that the only way in Kali-Yuga is chanting the holy name, and you don't need anything else. It's a Mahayagya. It doesn't cost anything. So they weren't very happy with that. It's putting them out of business. So they complained. And then the prophylactic means protected. So whatever, and Krishna cannot be contaminated himself, and he purifies everything that he comes in contact with. So whoever chants the holy name of the Lord, no matter Muchi Hoy, Suchi Hoy, Yari Krishna Bhakti, whether one is, completely Muchi is the name in Hindi for the shoemakers. They get the dead animals and they skin them, and then they use that skin, and they eat the meat also. But if they contact Krishna, they'll become purified. And we have a nice prayer we say, not so often, but whenever we do a yajna. Om Pavitra Va Sarvavastam Gatopi Va Yat Smare Pundarikaksham Sabhayantara Suchi, that whether one is pure or impure, Pavitra or Apavitra. If he remembers the lotus-eyed one, that's Krishna, Padmalochan. If he remembers the lotus-eyed one, then he becomes purified, becomes clean, Suchi. So there's so many evidences like that. And then we have, of course, in modern times, all of us are examples of the power of the holy name. That coming from very unpure backgrounds, most of the devotees in the Hare Krishna movement were not born in Brahmin families, and were apparently militias and yavanas and everything. But simply by chanting the holy name, you completely change and become pure Vaishnavas. So the proof is there also, an example is there. And more that's happening. All kinds of people, it doesn't matter. Lord Chaitanya did not consider, the Panchatattva did not consider anything about the time or place or who was there. They just chanted the holy name everywhere. And they wanted to, and they were very happy to see people giving up their sense gratification. So Lord Chaitanya, and then all those associates, especially with Lord Nityananda in Navadvip, they were going out every day. They went out early in the morning when the sun rises and chanting in every town and village and purifying everything, crying out to the people, you're wasting your lives. Even then, the song written by Bhakti Vinod, that was written 100 years ago, but he's saying that Lord Chaitanya was saying like this, you spend your days uselessly decorating your bodies and your nights sleeping. When will you wake up? When will you get out from it? Now, of course, this body decorating thing is a really huge business. But it's a natural propensity for those in the embodied state, right? Even the ducks, they're picking on their feathers and fixing them up and, cleaning themselves up. And they want to look good, and the dogs and cats are, cleaning and licking their fur so it looks shiny. And but to speak of the humans, working hard and, now they say like the purpose of advertising is to get people to buy what they don't need with money they don't have. Right? Because they realized, as some big businessmen realized in 1936 or something, that they cannot, continue just on the need for new things. They have to use advertising to convince people that you have to have a new fashion. You have to have a different haircut. You have to have a different kind of shoe. You have to have a different model of, whatever is coming out. Now, of course, there's so many things, and there's constantly advertising, And when you travel like I do in different countries, you see the same thing advertised in completely different ways. You know, because they analyze the people and what they really want. You know, so the advertisement you see in India for something, you might think here, oh, that's really stupid. You know, but the Indian will think, oh, the Honda motorbikes in India, the name is passion and ambition, and things like that, you know, because that's what the kids want. So, yeah, ambition, they're ambitious, but not for, you know, we should be ambitious, but for getting to Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya was spreading the holy name everywhere, and the Brahmanas complained, but he continued anyway. The Qazi tried to stop it, but that didn't work. That's a long story, but and then the Qazi gave protection after that to the Sankirtan movement. He gave the symbol of the Qazi for the Sankirtan party to carry when they went out chanting, so everyone would know that they're authorized. We have that symbol as that circle with the thing, you know, something like that. We have a lot of those around. That was the Qazi's symbol that he gave the Sankirtan party. You can carry that. That shows everybody, leave them alone, you know, they're protected. The government approved. And then the Brahmanas had to also finally come along and join. Okay, but even in the time of Bhaktisiddhanta, these caste Brahmins, they were envious and they tried to stop his Sankirtan party. It's a false ego. But the Lord Chaitanya, he just, you know, chanted the holy name of the Lord, and when he met somebody who wanted to hear philosophy, he would preach, he would teach the science of Krishna consciousness, but he was always just teaching, just chant the holy name. He exhibited many things to prove, you know, to show different devotees that he was actually the Supreme Lord. He showed a universal form like Krishna did. He showed to Advaita Acharya. He showed a few devotees a six-arm form, showing him standing there with two arms holding a bow and arrow, Lord Ramachandra, two arms holding a flute, and a sannyasi, or a cowherd boy stick, and another one holding the danda, the sannyasi, and the begging bowl, so that, you know, he showed different times that he was Krishna, but usually he said, don't tell anybody. He met even the great acharyas of the other sampradayas. Before his actual appearance in Navadvip 500 years ago, he met Ramanujacharya, he met Madhvacharya, Nimbarkacharya, H.H.Kavicandra Swami. They were hundreds and thousands of years before, and he revealed his beautiful form as Gaurasundar, and they just completely were amazed. And he said that, don't tell anybody. Just go on teaching your, you know, whatever they were teaching. They taught different aspects of devotional service and different, you know, levels of Krishna realization. But internally they were always thinking about Lord Chaitanya and the Sankirtan movement. And that was their motivation, that was their getting energy. But now that instruction not to tell anybody is no longer there. He appeared, and after that it's tell everybody. That the message is tell everybody, tell everybody. Whatever you know about Lord Chaitanya, whatever you know about chanting the holy name, whatever you know about anything about Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, the prasadam, anything, tell somebody. You know, bring them to the temple, give them prasadam, give them the holy name, give them a book. Tell everybody. Krishna taught, or Lord Chaitanya, one householder, Kurma Brahman. He wanted to leave everything, leave his family, leave everything, travel with Lord Chaitanya. And he was genuine. He wasn't just running away from the family. He was in ecstatic love of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya said, no, stay home. And Yare deke, tare deke, Krishna upadesh. Agya guru hoy, tare desh. He said, whoever you meet, wherever you go, Tell them about Krishna. And in this way you become a guru when you save your land. So he was telling the householders, invite people into your home, have kirtan, give them some prasad, and you'll be the guru. We need many gurus, many people to teach about Krishna. It's for everybody. It's not just for the Brahmin, it's not just for the ordained priest or something. Even in Christianity, I'm not sure which is which, but the Protestant movement started, Luther, that was in Germany, right? So he was a monk, but they were too much preaching that no one can pray even to God, you have to go through the priest. Everything is by the priest. And other things also, you know, you can pay the priest and then you can do any sinful activity you want, he'll get you off. So he rebelled, called a Protestant, a Protestant movement. And then I don't know, they, of course, then many new protesters came, so now there's many different groups with their different, founders. And all I remember is that some of them have this idea that priesthood of all believers, everyone should preach, not just a priest. So we have that. Lord Chaitanya taught that. Everybody, not just a sannyasi, not just a Brahmin, everybody. Preach to yourself if there's no one else around. Preach to your children if you're home with your children. Preach by your example. If people just see that you're a devotee, that you don't smoke and drink and party like they do, then they're going to be influenced. They ask sometimes, why are you so peaceful? Why aren't you all agitated like the rest of us? Right? What's your secret? Or if they taste prasadam, they want to know what's your secret. I remember when I first joined, people would ask for the recipe for something, and then they would say, well, I cooked it, but it's not the same as when you do it. What do you do? And then we said, we offer it to Krishna. That's what makes it different. So everyone can do that. Everyone can do something to, if you just, put some neckbead or something. It has an effect. People, Tulsi, just by hearing, seeing, touching, anything to do with Tulsi, people get purified. So if you're wearing Tulsi beads and people just see that, they get some benefit. They don't know, maybe they'll ask you, then you can say something. In some countries it's become fashionable. Many kids, they just like these Tulsi necklaces. They call them Krishna beads in America. Kids come to the temple to get them, Krishna beads. If they see tilak, Scripture says anyone who sees a tilak, they get liberated. They don't have to know what it is. If they know what it is, they might, oh, I'm Krishna. But they don't always know. But anyway, anything, the idea is that's what Lord Chaitanya taught. That's what he did. All his associates, they went out every day. He told everybody, go, every house, chant the holy name, ask them to chant. Beg them, chant the holy name. You don't have to ask for anything else. This one of the great devotees of Lord Chaitanya was named Gadadhar Das. Not the Gadadhar in the Panchatattva, another Gadadhar. That's Gadadhar Pandit, Gadadhar Das, and he would go every day, in front of every house and ask people to chant. And there was one Muslim, and he would never chant. He'd just say, get out of here, just get out of here, leave me alone, go away, get out of here, right? All right? So one day, he wanted to get rid of him. Like if you've ever been out preaching, sometimes you'll see people are very tricky, to get rid of you. Oh, I'm just going in the shop. When I come out, I'll buy your book. But then they go out the back door or something, and they watch very closely till you're busy and they go the other way. Sometimes businessmen, we go to their office, they'll just give some really small donation, just okay, goodbye. They don't want to hear anything. So he just said, kept chasing him away, just get out of here. But then one day he said, I'll chant Hare Krishna tomorrow. Just leave me alone, So Gadadhar became ecstatic and he was dancing in ecstasy. the guy said, well, why are you so happy? I said I would chant tomorrow. He really didn't mean it. He just wanted to get rid of him. But then he said, you already chanted. And you already chanted. And he was so happy. And then the guy's like, uh-oh. Because once you chant once, it's going to catch on, see? And the devotees know that. Prabhupada knew that. So Prabhupada was capable of going to America and living with all kinds of people. And just because they were chanting, he was so happy. He didn't care that they had perfect Brahminical habits or anything like that. He just cared that they were chanting. And he would be in ecstasy to see all these people, hippies and crazy people chanting. And then he knew that that was going to have an effect, and that was going to purify them. That others, they thought, there's no way you can go to America or Europe, they're all militias and Yavanan, there's no brahmanas there, there's no pure people, you can't preach that. But Prabhupada knew the power of Lord Chaitanya, so he knew the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So his prayer was, I know that if I can present this Srimad Bhagavatam nicely, then that will change them. And it worked. They chanted, and Prabhupada did present the Srimad Bhagavatam nicely in its purport so that anyone could understand it. And we see the effect. We're all here and all over the world. There's literally millions of Vaishnavas and chanting the holy name, going out, chanting the holy name, and translating books into so many languages. I just read that we have a group in London, I forget the name of it, but they're all deaf. There's quite a few devotees that are deaf. So they're making the Bhagavad Gita in sign language. I guess with pictures of animation or something. Sometimes you see on the airplane when they make their announcements, they have someone in the corner. If you meet any deaf person, just go like this. That means I love you. And they'll go. They get really mute. But anyway, we have one deaf devotee in Japan, and when he came, the Mataji said, "Well, how can I preach to him? What can I do?" But he could read and write, and he taught. Government teaches him nicely. So I said, just write down the mantra and tell him to meditate on it. And he did. He chants really intensely. Sometimes noises come out, but he doesn't know what he's saying. But he doesn't say Hare Krishna. He just but he loves it. He said he likes a really loud kirtan. And he can feel it. And we have one devotee in Israel. If you have any deaf friends, he's a hearing expert, and he's very compassionate because he's a devotee. So he's designed this some kind of amplifier that'll play like 5 times louder than a rock concert or something. So he says that the deaf people can actually hear music. They can hear the instruments even. They never heard anything in their life before, but somehow, maybe not everyone, but many deaf people. So I'm trying to get that connected with the deaf devotees. They can hear the kirtan for the first time. But there are many deaf devotees. They have deaf devotee conventions and everything. There's a group in Bombay. But there's no restriction that they can't chant, because the chanting really takes place in the mind. Most of us, we need to use our tongue and our ears, otherwise the mind will go wild all over the place. But there's no restriction. Anyone can chant the holy name. That was Lord Chaitanya's and Lord Nityananda's mercy. Prabhupada is saying, Lord Nityananda, he said normally a devotee, if we meet someone who has a little interest, and there's a spark of interest in Krishna. Just like if you're trying to get a fire started, there's a spark, you have to fan a little bit, right? Put some fuel in there. So you have to fan a little bit and tell him a little more and give him some prasadam, try to build up the fire. But he said, Lord Nityananda, he'll fan it even when there's no spark. He preaches to everyone and without discrimination. And it has effect. So many people become devotees. So that's a request, and that's Prabhupada's, special power, that he got all kinds of people all over the world chanting the holy name, reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, giving up sinful activities. Even Prabhupada was surprised. When he was on the ship, they asked him when he was coming to America what we were thinking. He said, well, I thought that when I tell them the regulated principles, they'll send me back to India. And they'll say, get out of here. And his first prayer was, Krishna, I don't know why you sent me to this sinful place, where everybody's so sinful here. He saw the advertising everywhere, and of course it wasn't as bad then as it is now, but still pretty bad, right? Now there's casinos everywhere, and there's erotic clubs everywhere. All these things are just everywhere. Things that, even when I was a child, to get pornography, you had to sneak into a certain part of the town. And, anybody would be really embarrassed, and they had to wrap it in a grocery bag or something, and then they would, there's only a few places. But now it's everywhere. It's cartoons for children. It's just normal. And what to speak of the internet. But at the same time, the good part of Kali-Yuga is advancing also the Sankirtan movement. And that's a special mercy of the Kali-Yuga. That simply by chanting the holy name, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya, by the Kirtan of Krishna, you can get the topmost liberation. Mukta Sangha Parambraje. That's a special feature. So the sages worship Kali-Yuga. We're very glad that we took birth in Kali-Yuga, because otherwise we could never make it. The processes for self-realization were very, very difficult. They're ages, but in Kali-Yuga, anyone who can just chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I saw yesterday in Basel, or however you say that, people were so much appreciating to see us chanting. I like it. Many know what it is because they've gotten books, and they were devotees in their last life. Some of these children that just come sometimes join the kirtan and just sit down and watch the kirtan. We saw that by the lake. And a couple of little girls, they just came, sat there until the mother came, just relishing the kirtan. You see that in every country. And the people are changing. I mean, when I first went on Harinam, children are naturally attracted. They're pure and simple. But generally the parents would just come and drag them away. Get out of here, don't listen to these things. Then I knew that child, as soon as he's got a chance, he'll come and join us. But now the parents encourage their children. Many, many times you see just, when you get the kid dances and the parents are very happy, and they'll sit there and wait for the child to, want to do something else. Because the world is getting purified by the chanting of the holy name. Many, many things are there that, are influenced by the Sankirtan movement. People are becoming environmentally conscious. The vegetarian movement is spreading. It's all different aspects of the Sankirtan movement. Not everybody takes everything fully, but that would be ideal. But different people take up different, aspects of Krishna consciousness, or at least religious principles, and promote these things. So we have the vegetarian movement spreading all over the world. But we want to spread prasadam, distribute prasadam everywhere, more and more. Distribute the holy name, because that's what's really elevating everyone. Nothing else is going to help. And you can read the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the description of Kali-Yuga, and then you'll see it's exactly like reading the news. only 5 Christians always ask us, at least in America, does your religion predict anything? You know, they think that their Bible gives so many predictions. The Bhagavatam is giving exact predictions, you know, what's going on in Kali-Yuga, you know, and not dates exactly. At some point it does list a lot of different kings, but the conditions of the people, you know, they're suffering from corrupt governments, they're suffering from excessive heat, excessive cold, drought, floods, you know, wind, right? It's mentioned excessive wind. I don't know if you have that here, tornadoes. Yeah, no?
Yes, we have. She's got
Srinavarta, you know, Krishna book, the whirlwind demon. They're very powerful, and it destroys everything wherever they go. Sometimes it's a half a mile wide, and it just flattens a whole town. And that's, you know, when they finish, it's just everything, every building is broken. I just saw a picture that one school was, you know, they said this town, the high school can't start this year because the high school is just smashed. It's just hanging there. And the buses, they threw the buses on, the big school buses just flying in the air. And one picture showed the bus on top of the school building from the wind. It's Kali-Yuga, and there's more and more of that every year. America has a lot of that because they're the most sinful. So they have, and then on the East Coast they have hurricanes. And in the Midwest they have tornadoes. That hurricane and the wind was like 150 kilometers an hour or something. It was a hurricane. Just wipes out everything. Blows big trucks off the road. So the people are harassed, and we have the coldest winters ever. Europe's experiencing that. The hottest summers. The seasons are all screwed up. You know, people are suffering from so many different diseases, mostly connected with their sinful activities. You know, from their sexually transmitted diseases to their smoking-related diseases to their intoxic meat-eating related diseases. All these things are increasing. So that's impetus. It should be impetus for us to try harder to surrender to Krishna, to get out from all that, to get freedom, real freedom, not to be, you know, completely controlled by all this advertising, that you can enjoy separately from Krishna, that you can enjoy, you know, anything in the material world. Sometimes it's a little bit not so bad, but it's always increasing the false ego, always increasing attachment to the body. You can be happy, you know, by getting a certain new kind of car, or there's a BMW, I don't know how they advertise it here, one new model in Asia. It says this BMW, whatever number it is joy. This is happiness. This is the definition of happiness, to have this particular BMW. You buy this flat and you get your dream car. You know, you can get a BMW or a Mercedes. But of course you have to pay, you know. But that's not happiness. Someone may become a little happy for a few minutes while they drive it, you know, but actually people just become envious. And then they're thinking maybe you should have got a different one. Maintenance is too much, you know. So all these things, you can be happy by a haircut, or you can be happy by this certain type of clothes, you know. You can be happy when you, in Switzerland they don't need to advertise this, but in Asia where, you know, the economy, they just advertise everywhere. A big house, you know, this is the goal of life, to get this big house. Big pictures of these big houses everywhere. You know, if you get this house in this place, you got a golf course, and you got tennis courts, and you got security guards, and you got swimming pools, and, you know, all these things. Even in Vrindavan, we see those kind of ads now. Luxurious house, you know, live in the land of Krishna in absolute luxury, cable TV and everything. You know, forget Krishna. Live in Vrindavan and forget Krishna, basically. But happiness is not going to come from any of those things related to the body. Whatever, there'll be something there, a little flickering chapala sukha that won't last very long. So now, after I've wasted your time, maybe, we have our H.H.Kavicandra Swami. He's come. The first time here?
No, second time. Like long back, 20 years ago, I was here.
I'll move aside, and he can really tell you about Lord Chaitanya, because his birth is in the land of Lord Chaitanya in Bengal. And by the mercy of the materialistic consciousness, his father sent him to London to study and become an engineer, so he could make a lot of money. But he was captured by the Hare Krishnas. And here he is now, traveling around the world and giving joy and happiness to everybody. I always meet him, and he's translated many books from Bengali also into English, so that we can get a lot of mercy. So here you are. Thank you very much. Dankeschön. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare